Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, September the 22nd, 2022. Thursday, September 2nd, 2022. It was kind of comical to me. Not a whole lot happened, but what did happen was kind of funny. I'll get to that in just a second. We have a minor scene with Tessa and Mariah heading into the coffee house, and they hear Kyle and Summer going over some pictures and not liking them. So immediately Tessa thinks, oh my God, they didn't like my photo shoot that happened, what, in soap opera land a year ago? Uh, they would have told her way before now if they didn't like it, but she's a little self-conscious. So they go in and they talk to Summer and Kyle. And Tessa lets them know you didn't like the shoot. And they're like, what are you talking about? They love the shoot. And Summer's like, I can't, my problem is I can't see which one to pick, or I'm torn to pick which is the best because she loved them all. And so then they find out, well, what were you commenting on? What photos? And that's when they said they're going to renew their vows and they're having a problem with the theme. What kind of theme were they going to go for? So then we get Tracy talking to Allie. Trust me, I fast forwarded the whole thing because it was boring. My whole thing is Allie feeling sick. No, she didn't look like she was feeling sick because is she pregnant? Because I don't think it was truly planned her sleeping with Noah when she did. So was there protection? There never seems to be on soap operas. But Noah comes in with this bright idea. He wanted to throw a surprise pre-wedding party for Summer and Kyle. Now, Summer and Kyle haven't even set a date, but let's do a pre-wedding party today. I thought, why would you do it today, right now? You know? And oh my goodness. Once again, people are planning things for other people just out of the blue. And then they're, trying to decide, okay, but getting Phyllis and Diane in the same room at the same time would be trouble. So what they decided to do was invite them at different times, have Diane be there for one part of it, then Phyllis be there for the next part. And my whole thing is, yeah, maybe, but guess what? They're still adults. Invite them at the same time. They're still adults. They may act a fool, but guess what? Let them act a fool at the party. So this way, when it's time for the wedding, we say, you know what? We did this so everybody could come to our wedding, but you two have proven you don't even need to be at our wedding. So needless to say, with the whole Diane blowing up at Phyllis inside the lobby, they no more left the meeting with Kyle and Summer, that Phyllis golds Diane subtly because Diane's meeting with Victor rattled her. What did she think? Diane knew Victor hated her guts and is vicious and actually a little dangerous, okay? So the meeting didn't go the way she thought it was going to go. So she really was, yeah, she's going to say what she wants to say to Phyllis and back off. And she just yelling. And Phyllis was like, now that's it. That's you, right? So now, of course, Jack runs up. Oh, no, you two, wait. I can hear you down the hall, and Diane just, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. She takes off. Phyllis is like, I don't know what she did. I don't know why she did what she did. Oh, but you heard that, right? And he goes, you know what, Phyllis? I'm gonna leave you to your gloating. So of course Jack walks off to find Diane. Now, Diane was the one acting inappropriately. Diane was the one blowing up. But guess who he goes to find? Diane. Now, if the tables would have been reversed, which in so many cases there were, Phyllis was the one shouting at the top of her lungs. Did he ever go run after Phyllis? No, not at all. So Diane is just, oh, she's crying in the booth. Just go, oh, Jack, I've worked so hard. I'm done. You know, And oh, I'm gonna call and I'm gonna just tell my son. I'm gonna call and tell him what I did. And Jack's like, well, I'm not gonna tell him. I mean, hey, you know, they didn't come in. I say, let's squash it and make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, then we get Phyllis running into the coffee house. Oh, I gotta tell you guys what happened. What happened? Phyllis tells. See, Phyllis does not think to save her life. The comment, the conversation, the terms that were set down not more than what, 2 hours ago at society was, if one of you messes up, or even both of you, get into it, sabotage, whatever it is, we're not going to pick sides. We're not going to investigate. You both are out. Neither one of them took that to heart. Neither one of them cared about that conversation. So Phyllis wasn't thinking, if I go tell, I'm out. She just, because she's only thinking off the top of her head and thinking, finally, I could run and tell on Diane for something, right? So Diane, they're all back in the office, and I guess Diane called Kyle. And Diane tells what happened. You know, she broke the terms. She blew up at Phyllis. She acted unprofessionally, and Phyllis is just standing there. You know, Phyllis is to the left of Summer. Looks like it's to the right, but for photos, let's say she's to the right of Summer. And Phyllis is just like, yeah, that is what I said. Oh yeah, it happened. Like, poor Diane, yeah. And they're looking at Phyllis, and so Diane says, so I'm gonna resign. And Phyllis is like, yeah, that's what she should do. That's what she should do. And Kyle said, well, you know what? Thank you for coming forward. Thank you for admitting what you've done. You know, because Diane says, you know, I understand the terms. I accept you for your word, and I'm gonna resign. So after he thanked her for resigning, Summer looks at Phyllis. So, Mom, thank you for your service too. You know, you've done a good job, but you got to go. And Phyllis was like, wait, like a ton of bricks hit her. Wait, what? She was the one who lost her mind. I came to you all in good faith telling you what happened. She goes, but see, we just had the conversation today, not even long ago, that it doesn't matter who did what, doesn't matter. Both of you have to go. Because see, even if they looked at what happened, they don't work near each other. Like Summer said at the restaurant, your departments don't overlap, only on a special assignment. You all don't even need to see each other. But see, Phyllis was waiting there for Diane to come back. She was waiting to start something. That wasn't fit. They don't, wherever they were, they didn't have to interact with each other, and they chose to, both of them. So Phyllis finally, she goes, that's not fair. And she, well, Mom, that was the terms, and you understood the terms. Summer stood her ground. I loved it, stood her ground. I loved working with you, but it's like, you know what? Now you get back on your mommy hat only, because you're not my employee anymore, right? So Summer's like, well, then I guess that's it then. Thank you. And she goes walking out. And then Diane looks, but while Phyllis is doing the wait, what, why me? Diane is looking at her like, I got you. I got you. Because I may be out of a job, but I knew that was going to put you out of a job too when I told. But see, Phyllis had already told and ruined it for the both of them anyway, right? So Diane was looking at her like, And so Phyllis walks out, and then Diane says, well, perhaps we can all have dinner as families sometime soon. Oh, playing that card. So then the ladies walk out, and Summer and Kyle are like, oh, goodness. And they're like, it's a shame because they were both doing such a good job in their jobs. So Jack says, you know what? Perhaps you all can give them let them stew on it. Let them stew on this for a while, and then give them one last chance. And so they were like, but look, they would never take us seriously if we do that. Jack says, but ultimately you really don't want to lose them. And if they learn their lesson, if they're remorseful, if they're, you know, see the error of their ways, then, it's like give them this time out and then bring them back because they will understand what's going to happen for good and final. So Summer sees Phyllis at the coffee house. Kyle goes and finds Diane at society. She's like, are you going to take my company? You here to take the company credit card back? And I'm thinking, you're not even an executive. What you doing with a company credit card? Phyllis owns a division. She would have one, but not Diane. So he goes, no. And he's just saying, I'm proud of what you did and blah, blah, blah. And Phyllis, on the other hand, talking to Summer is still on the no. That was her fault. She was just being Phyllis. And Summer was like, you know what, Mom, let's be real. You knew the terms, but you chose to get into it with Diane. You chose that. You did not have to be anywhere around her, but yet you were. So there's nothing I could say about it. Like, this is on you. So then Summer gets a text. Oh, is this about fashion? I can help you. She goes, no, Mom, no. But no, this is from Noah. He wants me to meet him at the Grand Phoenix. Okay, well, I'll go with you and we can continue our conversation. She's like, no, we need some time to cool apart. We need some time to let things settle. I will talk to you tomorrow. And as she gets up and walks away, she goes, I love you. She walks away. Well, Phyllis is sitting there stewing, right? And so Summer and Kyle gets the same text, but Kyle's text says, bring your mom. So he goes, something's happening at the Grand Phoenix and they want me to bring you. So he and Diane go. And it's a surprise. They walk in the surprise party, yada, yada, yada. So Summer's talking to Noah because she was kind of like, well, my mom isn't here. So he goes, no. We're gonna have your mom here, but we have a plan. We're gonna keep them separate. Diane is here for right now at the beginning. Then we're gonna call your mom in. She'll have equal time, to the end. And I thought, for one, Diane never leaves when she's supposed to leave, ever. It doesn't happen. And let's face it, Phyllis is impulsive. She knew where Summer was going. So sure enough, Phyllis is sitting there. Phyllis is sitting there unraveling. Diane is beating me. Diane is getting the better of me. I can't let this happen. Okay, get it together, Phyllis, get it together. Okay, I just got to open Summer's eyes. I've got to get to Summer and open her eye. And I'm thinking, there you go. Slippery slope. This is going to be the end. Phyllis can't help herself. It's unfortunate. See, and here's the thing. All she had to do was do a good job. Diana's already conspiring with somebody via text. She's not there on good faith. You should have let Diane be her own worst enemy. But Phyllis is her own worst enemy, period. Oh my goodness. So let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. We have a comment from Robin. Say good advice from Jack. Give them a second chance. Once they stew on it for a little bit, right? So, we'll see. And so she says she does, she likes their closeness. Who's closer? Are you talking to Summer? I like their closeness. Is it the closeness with her and Phyllis or her and Kyle that you like their closeness? And then Medora says, I'm thinking Amanda has in Devon covered with his business. You mean has Devon? Maybe Jill, it says, and Jill and Lily won't have the power for what's going to happen to Devon's business. I don't know. Once it merged, Hamilton Winters ceased to exist. I think it kind of turned into a division. It's the music division of Chancellor. And then she's saying, perhaps once it merged, it's really Devon may have, more as many shares as Jill has because he owned his company and Jill owned Chancellor's. I would say yes and no, but Chancellor's Industries was way bigger than Hamilton Winters. So if we're thinking along that lines, Jill would have more stock than Devon. But from what Benedict Arnold Nate was saying, they were going to split all the stock amongst the executive staff. Well, the funny thing is, Jill is chairman of the board. Are they, is it split with her too? Because that means they're split 5 ways. I don't know. And how would Nate know? How would Nate even know that? He was sitting at a meeting where Jill just brought out the idea. So Nate doesn't even know how the stock is split. That's what was interesting to me. And LaShanta said, I'm mad because why should Phyllis resign because of Diane? Jack makes me sick. Now Phyllis feels left out of the party and Diane loves it. Well, but there was a plan. Phyllis wasn't going to be left out. They were going to call her in, for the last part. And then it says Phyllis is always, Libby is replying to LaShanta, Phyllis is always goading Diane too. Although I'm on her side, she is really a bit extra. Phyllis is all the time. And then Hogan's Fin and Bags says Phyllis is awesome. I wonder, is Diane or Diane has another reason for coming? Yes, she does. It seems like she's conferring with someone on the text messages. So yeah, it's implying a plot. It really is. And then Libby says, I think you're right. I think Talia's got some skullduggery going on too. I wonder if there's a connection. I don't believe there's a connection at all between Summer and Talia and Diane. Talia's got her own little agenda going on. Okay, Diane's secret stuff may have to do with that rich person that Deacon was talking about, that wealthy man she was riding around with. Well, that's it, everyone. That is my daily recap for The Young and the Restless for Thursday, September the 22nd. I will be back tomorrow for Cliffhanger Friday, although it won't be too much of a cliffhanger. I'll bet you it'll end up in some kind of hair-pulling fight between Phyllis and Diane.